We're up. We're live. I think I can probably trust that little green light, but engineers just got to wait for it. There it is. It's green, and here we are. We're mean on the scene. My name is Max. I rant Monday through Thursday, and today it's Thursday, last day of the week. Baby, let's get down to brass tacks here. I want to talk about what the hell is up with Pretti. You know Pretti? That's the guy who got shot dead recently and caused a whole new bunch of George Floyd type riots in Minneapolis. God, can you think of any worse place to live than Minneapolis? That's become more of a toilet bowl than the Bronx, for God's sake. Well, anyway, let's get into it here. Let's put all this into perspective. Now, we have telephoned people, interviewed people, been hung up on and called dirty words by people, but a lot of research, a lot of homework has gone into tonight because I want to put the shooting of Alex Pretti in perspective. Please pay attention. The man is painted by the major media as an angel. Hell, according to the New York Times, he should be canonized and made a damn saint. You understand? Because what was he? The media says he was an angel of mercy gunned down in the midst of a peaceful protest. Fact, that's a bunch of horse shit. It's not at all the story. Here are the facts. Here's the evidence. You tell me. Okay? All right, first of all, when asking former co-workers, I say former because he is dead, about him, they all say that Pretti is pretty much the same thing. They all talked about the same things that stuck out about Pretti. They really did. But in the light of current sentiment, many of these people want to remain anonymous. They're afraid they'll get doxxed, and anybody like me living in Minneapolis will have his house firebombed. So let's get into it. Let's release some quotes from the few people who would talk to us. We're going to call this one Ms. See how politically correct I am? I said Ms., not Miss. Not Mrs., not it. So, Ms. X, quote, he was definitely a political animal and never missed a chance to burn ICE or President Trump. His list of people that he really hated seemed to be endless. Oh, that doesn't bode well for St. Pretti. Let's go on. Ms. Y, quote, Alex, meaning Pretti, was a pain in the ass to be around even off the job. He had some pretty insane ideas and motivations and never missed a chance to share them whether we wanted to hear him or not. I couldn't stand working with him or being around him, end quote. And a little stronger, okay. What about a guy? Here we go, Mr. Z. Quote, since early on, Alex Pretti was right out there on the streets, marching, cursing, spitting at cops, throwing stuff, and doing whatever he felt he could get away with. He said it was to stop ICE and the cops from picking up undocumented aliens, but I knew better. He just got off on the violence, end quote. Now, of the 8 people that we spoke with, people close enough to Pretti, 6 of them didn't particularly like him, and they resented Pretti's incessant political machinations. The other 2 praised him as a saint. So 6 for asshole, 2 for saint. Well, let's take a vote. Let's move along here, okay, because he is dead. Let's not speak ill of the dead, but let's not fabricate some false history. Let's go along. We spoke to about, or tried to speak to about 20 people, and only 8 of them felt like responding. And that's where 6 of them said, okay, I'll talk to you, but you need to keep my name secret, keep my ID. Of course we do. We're responsible journalists and will not out anybody that gives us verifiable information. So anyway, oh, and by the way, if you go in the text here, you can click on a link to the New York Post showing some of the violence in the past weeks of Alex Pretti knocking out the taillights on an ICE vehicle, spitting on a police officer, throwing things. Gee, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like Saint Pretti. Let's move along here. It boils down to the simple truth. Pretti was, because he's dead, a radical liberal protester, a rioter on more than one occasion, a guy who got off on the violence, as long as he didn't get hurt. Well, he didn't get hurt, but he did get killed. There's a significant difference. Oh, my God, he put himself in the danger zone. He felt empowered, sufficient as to attack ICE officers, attack police, and even damage their vehicles, breaking windows, trying to set them on fire. Hey, when you engage in that kind of behavior, you know that things could go sideways really fast. And in this case, they did. Pretti is dead. Pretti is deady. And that's kind of good, that rhymes. And many close to him said it wasn't hard to see that eventually happening as he escalated his rhetoric, his antics over the course of a number of weeks. They said they could see it coming. Here's Ms. X again, same one from before. Quote, "Nobody deserves to die, but he put himself in a place where arrest or injury or death were all possible. He made up his mind, he took his chances, and he lost." End quote. Yes, Pretti continually, repeatedly tossed the coin of violence in the face of a riot, wanting to be up there with the rest of them, kicking vehicles, spitting on cops, throwing rocks and bricks, doing the sort of thing that radical Democrat liberal insurgents do, because they don't make their point through peace, they make it through violence. According to people he knew, he got off on the violence. It wasn't all about saving illegal aliens. It wasn't about just possible Gestapo tactics by ICE. No, it was about violence. Let's move along. Similar sentiments run high among all of those closest to him. A life wasted thanks to the leftist ideology. It sweeps our blue states, our sanctuary cities. Our American major media created yet one more fanatic, created yet one more rock-throwing, spit-on-people, get into the violence guy. Thank you, major media. Thank you, New York Times, New York Post, all of you bastards. Thank you for covering it in such a way that you created yet one more total asshole. Understand, one more fanatic who has now lost his brainwashed life for a cause that never was.